So management is primarily concerned with human behavior. The foremen and supervisors, they comprise the lowest level of management. Most of the scientific experiments, they are all based on observations and they are all based on experiments. Welcome to this session of business studies based on in continuation of the nature and significance of management. I am Purnima, faculty in the Department of Commerce, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence. In this continuing the session on management, now we will discuss whether management is an art. Okay, so nature of management. In this, we will discuss whether management is an art. Okay, so we all know the meaning of the word art. Now, what is art? It may be any form of dance or painting, drawing, singing, everything. So, all this comes under the purview of art. Now, art, how can you define art? So, if you want to have the definition of art, we have to look for three aspects. So, in this, first one is existence of theoretical knowledge. Now, any art form will have a theory as a base. Now, so if it is dancing or if it is drawing, if it is music, so it will all have a theoretical base. So there should be a theoretical base for any art forms. Then next one is personalized application. Now, what is this personalized application? So in this personalized application, we have to just see that whatever you have learned through the theory, that is put into practice. That is, if you have learnt about dance, or if you have learnt about music, or if it is any painting, so that you will put it into practice and you will have your own art forms. That is, you will be dancing or you will be singing. Now, how you are making use of this knowledge. So, how you are applying the knowledge gained. So, that is the personalized application. Then, next one is based on practice and creativity. In this, we will be seeing that based on practice and creativity means the art is based on practice. So, as and when you keep on dancing and you keep on singing, you become more and more perfect, and in the same way, you have to have your own creativity to excel in arts. So, this is the definition, or if you want to call something as an art, it should have these three main features. So, that is existence of theoretical knowledge, personalized application based on practice and creativity. Now, let us see whether management fulfills all these features. Now, in the first instance, management as an art, whether it fulfills the first feature, that is existence of theoretical knowledge. So, we all know that management has been recognized as a separate subject, or we have so many thinkers of management who have written principles of management. So, we can understand that management has theoretical knowledge. So, it draws so many inferences. So, it has drawn from the physics, it has drawn from psychology, it has drawn from economics, so many things it has drawn from various other disciplines. So, we can say that management has a theoretical knowledge. Then, next one is personalized application. Just like art forms, which has to be imbibed into our own application, the same way management also, principles of management have to be used by the manager in his own way. So, he should know when to apply what principle. So, he should know how to deal with each situation, what principle he should use. So, the personalized application is important for management. Then, next one is based on practice and creativity. So just like art forms, so as and when you practice more and more, you become more and more efficient dancer, an efficient musician, or an efficient painter. In the same way, a manager also, so as and when he deals with the various situations in the business, so he becomes more and more successful and he becomes an efficient manager. So we can conclude that management is an art. Now, going to whether management is a science. So, if you can see here, we have the three features of science, or if you want to call anything as a science, it should have these three features. Now, what are they? Systematized body of knowledge. So, systematized body of knowledge means we should have some knowledge, that is the knowledge which is based on so many principles, and after so many scientists have discovered so many things and innovations, and because of that we have a vast and enormous amount of knowledge which has been recognized as a science. Then next one is principles based on experimentation. Now what is this principles based on experimentation? So as you all know, most of the scientific experiments, they are all based on observations and they are all based on experiments. So whatever the truth is given by science, they are not given as, it is not something which is an assumption. So it has been tried and tested, and after that we can recognize it as a principle. The principles are based on experimentation. So any experiments in science which is made, it will hold good throughout the world. So whether you make the experiment in India or you have the experiment in abroad, so anywhere you do, you will have to get the same result. Then next one is universal validity. So as I explained earlier, so universal validity means all the cause and effect relationships whatever you have in science, so that will hold good everywhere in the world. So we have to see whether this management as a science, whether it fulfills all these conditions. Now, if you look into the management as a science, so first one is systematized body of knowledge. So we all know that management is a subject which has been drawn from various other disciplines. So we know that management is as old as civilization itself. So whenever there is a group of people who are working together, he or that group of people needs to be managed. Otherwise, the work does not get done. Then, why we should call management as a science? Management is a systematized body of knowledge. Yes, management has a systematized body of knowledge. So, we have various management thinkers, great thinkers like F.W. Taylor, and we have Henry Fayol, who have written down the various principles of management which are relevant even to this day. So these principles were written almost 3 to 4 centuries back, but they are relevant even in the organizations which are working today. So these principles of management, they constitute a systematized body of knowledge for management. Then next one is principles based on experimentation. So in science, most of the experiments are based on experimentation. In a similar way, even in management, we have so many principles which are based on observations and experimentations. So management is primarily concerned with human behavior. So the human behavior has been observed and it has been experimented, and then they have concluded certain principles of management. So we can say that even though the experiments may not hold good always, we can conclude that management is a inexact science. We can call management as an inexact science, but then there are certain principles of management which are universally accepted. So it partially fulfills this second condition. Third one is universal validity. Yes, so management can be considered as a science because it is valid throughout the world. So any part of the world, wherever you go, it will tell us that management has the 5 functions. So what are the 5 functions? Planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. So as an art, it is a personalized application of knowledge, but whereas a science, it is a base on which the manager will have to practice. Now, let us look into whether management is a profession. Now, if you have to call something as a profession, it needs to fulfill certain criteria. Now, what are the certain criteria that we have to understand? So, first one is well-defined body of knowledge. So, well-defined body of knowledge means, so it should have been a subject. Just like if you want to become a doctor or you want to become a chartered accountant, so you have to learn some basic course of chartered accountancy, or you have to study MBBS to become a doctor. So it has to be some certain sort of a particular education which you have to follow or which you have to study to become a certain, to excel in a profession. Or if you want to become a doctor, so you have to do your MBBS. If you want to be a lawyer, then you have to do your degree in law. So it has to have a well-defined body of knowledge. Then next one is restricted entry. So restricted entry, so any professions it may be. So if you are a professional, if you are a doctor, then you should hold an MBBS degree. So if you want to be called as a chartered accountant, then you should have a degree in chartered accountancy. So only those persons can be called as a lawyer or a chartered accountant. So it is mandatory for such persons to pass a degree or an examination. Then next one is professional association. Now, any profession for that matter, it will have its own associations. So doctors will have their own associations, lawyers will have their own associations. So in the same way, we have to see whether management has its own association. Then next one is ethical code of conduct. Ethical code of conduct means each profession will have set its own code of conduct. What is this code of conduct? They have certain rules which are to be followed by the members of such a association. So if it is a doctor, so he will have to take the oath, that is the ethical oath, before he starts his practice. So this is the ethical code of conduct. Next one is service motive. Service motive means, so whether it is a doctor or it is a lawyer or it is a chartered accountant, his motive will be service to the society, or he has to work with the service motive. So or his services should be beneficial to the society. So in this way, a profession should have all these characteristics. Now let us see whether management fulfills all these characteristics. So the first characteristic or first feature or the first condition is a well-defined body of knowledge. So if you want to term management as a profession, it should have a well-defined body of knowledge. Yes, so we know that management has taught as a subject in almost all the educational institutions concerning the management, and management has been recognized as a discipline. So management is taught in almost all the IIMs all over India. So what is the IIM? IIMs are Indian Institute of Management. So where they specifically teach management. So we can say that management is a profession because it has a well-defined body of knowledge. Now, next one is restricted entry. Now, this condition is somewhat, it is not management does not fulfill this condition. Now, anybody can be called as a manager. So, he need not be a management graduate only. So, any person who holds any educational degree, he can be called as a manager. So, management partially fulfills this second condition. Then, third one is professional association. Now, professional association means the management has its own association. All India Management Association, AIMA. So, this is the professional association for management graduates. Yes, the management has a professional association of its own. So, it fulfills this third condition. Then the fourth condition is ethical code of conduct. Yes, management has its own code of conduct. So almost all the managers, they follow the basic principles of management. So we can say that they follow the ethical code of conduct. And coming to this last condition, the service motive. So if an organization is running very efficiently, then that itself is a service to the society. How can we tell that if an efficiently run organization is a service to the society? Because it will be providing quality goods and services with the best and efficient use of resources. So we can say that the management satisfies this next condition, that is the service motive. So we can conclude that management is an art, management is a science, and management is also a profession. Now, we will be looking into the various relationships in management. As we all know that in an organization, there are various hierarchical levels in the organization. So, we can conclude that management is based on hierarchical levels where authority and responsibility relationships exist. So, there is a relationship between the superior and the subordinate. So, this chain of authority which runs in the organization, it moves from top to bottom, and the whatever is the work which has been done from in the lower levels of organization will be submitted to the higher levels of management. Okay, so in this levels we will be studying about the different levels of management. Now, in the first level, so in the first one, we have the top management. As you can see in the picture, the topmost level, it comprises or it represents the top level management. Now, who can be considered? Who are the persons who can be considered as the topmost level? So, it is the chairman, the CEO, the president, and vice president. So, they are considered as the top level management. So, in addition to this, we have the heads of various departments. So, they are also considered as the top level management. Now, what are the functions of the top level management? So, the first one is it integrates diverse elements and coordinates the activities of different departments. So, integrates diverse elements. So, in an organization, there are various departments and each department has to function on its own. So, even though it functions on its own, there should be coordination between all the departments. So, all the diverse elements and coordinates the activities of different departments. So, integrates diverse elements means each department will have its own human resources, it will have its own basic needs, or it will have its own functions to work. So, it will integrate all the diverse elements and coordinates the activities of different departments. So, the top management has to take care that the whole organization as a whole is running together. Then next one is, it is also responsible for the welfare and survival of the organization. The top management has to have all those decisions which will see that the organization runs for a very long time. That is survival and welfare. Welfare means the well-being of the organization. That means it has to take those decisions which are most profitable to the organization and to the employees also. So both. So the decision making process lies with the top management. Then next one is, formulate overall organizational goals and strategies. Now this top management has to see that what are the organizational goals. So what are the goals the organization has to set to see that, and it has to also see how to formulate the strategies to reach the goals. So all these things are decided by the top management, and we can sum it up as, it is a complex and stressful job. So the top management's job is very complex and very stressful, because they will be looking into the future and they will also have to see what are the future plans. So almost all the planning for the organization is done by the top management, and they will be the actual drivers of the organization. Now next one is the middle management. Now who is this middle management? They are the link between the top and lower level. If you can see in this picture here, so we have in the top level there is only one person. So in the middle level there are three persons who are holding him on the top, and to hold these people, we have so many other peoples here in the lowest level. So these middle level, or they are also called as the middle level managers. So they are the link between the top level and the lower level. Now let us see who will consist of the middle management. So in the middle management, we will be having the assistant heads of the various departments. So they may be the assistants or the deputies to the heads of the various departments. So they are also known as the divisional heads. Now looking into the functions. Now what are the functions of this middle level management? So first function is, they are responsible for implementing and controlling plans and strategies developed by top management. Okay, so whatever the top management has planned, whatever strategy they have adopted, that part should be implemented. So the implementation part is done by this middle level management. So they have to see what are the plans which the top management has drawn and how to put it into practice. Now these plans and strategies, they have to study it and they have to see how it has to be implemented. Then their responsibilities for the activities of managers. So the middle management, they are responsible for the activities of the managers. So whoever is the head, the deputy managers who are heading each department, they will be responsible for the activities. Then next one is interpretation of the policies. So as I said earlier, the top management, they will be the main decision making bodies. So whatever policies, whatever plans and strategies they do, it will be interpreted by these middle level managers. So interpretation of policies is done by the middle management. Next one is ensuring the department has necessary personnel. Now what is this personnel? So it means that the middle level managers are responsible to see that their departments are well manned. That means, so every position should have one staff to represent the position and he has to do the work. So this middle level managers are responsible for staffing of their respective departments. Then next one, they have to be assigned necessary duties and responsibilities. So the middle level managers, they should interpret the plans and policies and they should also know whom to give what duty. They should know how to assign the duties and the responsibilities to each staff of the department. Then next one is motivate the personnel. So he should not only assign duties but he should also motivate the people to do the job. Now what is this motivation? So motivation is you offer an incentive. So it may be any financial incentive or a non-financial incentive. So it should be offered to the personnel to keep him motivated or to keep him interested in his job. Then next one is cooperate with other departments. So the functions of the middle management is they have to cooperate. So without cooperation and coordination, none of the organizations will survive. So we need to have cooperation between departments. And who looks after this cooperation part? The middle level managers. Okay, so the next or the last level of management is the supervisory or operational management. So the supervisor is there. So he will be telling these workers how to do what. The actual work is done by this people or the lowest level or operational management. So in this supervisory or the operational management, so we will find the foremen and the supervisors. The foremen and supervisors, they comprise the lowest level of management. So actual work will be done here. So these people, they interact with the workforce. So they will interact with the workforce, the labor or the lowest level of management, the people who actually sweat or who actually work for the organization, they are considered as the workforce. And these supervisors or the foremen, they will be interacting with the workforce of the organization. Then next one is they pass on instructions. So what each person has to do, so that instructions will be passed on by these foremen and the supervisors. Then next, their job is to oversee their efforts. So they have to keep on checking or supervising whether they are doing the job as per the specifications. Then next one is they are responsible for minimum wastage. So any organization should not have a lot of wastage. So if there is lot of wastage, then it will be a drain on the funds or the finance. So to keep the wastage as minimum as possible, so it is the responsibility of the lowest level or the supervisory or the operational management. Then they have to maintain quality of output. So the quality of the product. So what is the quality of the product? That has to be maintained by this lowest or the supervisory level of management. So we have come to the end of this session. Thank you very much.